Amalfi is one of the most beautiful and picturesque places in Italy. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site brimming with culture and heritage. And it's also the latest name of Ferrari's latest front mid-engine sports car. This is the Ferrari Amalfi. It's the latest entry point to Ferrari ownership, and it's also what Ferrari is calling the flag of a renewed sporty lifestyle. But before we talk about this car, I think we're duty-bound to talk about the car that it replaces, which is the Ferrari Roma.
Introduced in 2019, the Roma, named after the Italian capital city, was dubbed La Nuova Dolce Vita, or the New Sweet Life. Boasting a grille that was inspired by the 250 GT, immaculate muscular proportions, and sensual styling, it was an absolute feast for the eyes. But it was also an important car for Ferrari because it was meant to appeal to new customers. Customers for whom elegance and refinement were just as important as speed and drama. Ferrari has since called it a car with two souls, able to be driven in comfort daily, yet also deliver performance where desired.
Now you may be thinking that the Amalfi represents a mere evolution, and while that's technically not wrong, dig deeper in true Ferrari fashion and you'll find that an entire treasure trove awaits. So let's talk about first impressions first. You can tell that the Amalfi is definitely based off the Roma, but even as it maintains those very elegant and muscular and lovely proportions, you can tell that the entire outlook of the car has also changed as well. We get a purer, cleaner aesthetic. When we spoke to Ferrari's design team, terms like avant-garde, sleek, contemporary were used, and you can tell that the Amalfi really embodies that. Now I think one of the most defining characteristics of the Roma was its body-coloured front grille, but in line with cars that we've seen recently from Ferrari, including the 12 Cilindri, there really is less of an expressive face and more of a cleaner, futuristic front. You get this floating body-coloured band over this black strip over here, and that just gives the car a very futuristic and cutting-edge air.
The Amalfi also gets a more monolithic rear end that, once again, resists anthropomorphic design elements with no conventional eyes or mouth. Ferrari states that all of the body panels on the Amalfi, except for the greenhouse, are brand new. And at the rear, it's also worth pointing out that the car has gotten a redesigned active spoiler that is now part of its sheet metal as opposed to the black panel aft of the windscreen on the Roma. This active spoiler can switch automatically between low, medium, and high downforce positions and provide up to an additional 110 kilograms of downforce when the Amalfi is blasting along at 250 kilometers per hour with only a 4% increase in drag.
Now that we're talking about aerodynamics, I think it's also a good time for us to be talking about performance. With the Amalfi, Ferrari says that they really refined the idea of a car with two souls. So if you're a first-time Ferrari owner, a first-time Ferrari driver, this car should still be unintimidating, approachable, even comfortable to drive on a daily basis. But if you're a keener driver who wants to push the limits of the car even further, that's when the Amalfi rises to the occasion even better. And because the heart and soul of any Ferrari is the engine, we are duty-bound to go into what lies underneath this long hood, which is this glorious twin-turbo V8 engine.
This engine has been further refined to deliver more power, with its output now standing at 631 brake horsepower, or a nearly 20 brake horsepower increase from the one on the Roma. While peak torque remains at 760 Nm, you'll find the red line at an elevated 7,600 RPM instead. Mated to the same 8-speed DCT at the rear, the Amalfi takes just 3.3 seconds to demolish the Century Sprint, while 0 to 200 takes 9 seconds flat. With an unlimited stretch of road, you could take this up to 320 km per hour. But as Ferrari explains, it's not just about numbers. The Amalfi utilizes a new turbocharging management system for increased responsiveness, as well as a new ECU seen on the likes of the Scalpo-Sharp 296 GTP and the Purosangue that has allowed the engine's full potential to be harnessed. Other technical innovations aimed at reducing weight and increasing responsiveness include the likes of lighter camshafts for quicker revolutions and a flat plane crankshaft machined differently to reduce inertia. While we'll only get to experience the enhancements when behind the wheel, Ferrari states that the result is a torque curve shaped for stronger pull at mid and high revs in all gears, with the third and fourth gears being significantly more dynamic than in the Ferrari Roma. Still, as mentioned, leave the Amalfi either wet or comfort, and a more relaxing driving experience awaits.
Now, Ferrari has also put out some machines with some very, very sophisticated technology in recent memory, and the Amalfi carries on some of that tech. One of the key features of this car is its brake-by-wire system, which is paired to the ABS Evo dynamic control system. And what this provides is not just better stopping power, but also more consistent stopping power across all sorts of driving conditions. Now, last but not least, the cabin. Ferrari states that it listened very, very carefully to customer feedback when crafting the Amalfi, and this cabin is really all of that feedback and input put together in such beautiful form. I feel like your eyes might be drifting down here currently, but I need to redirect your attention to this instead, which is the steering wheel. It's been redesigned and we have the return of physical buttons now. We have them for the arrow keys, for the ADAS, and most importantly, we have the return of the aluminium engine start-stop button so that you can really hear the growl and all the bassy notes of that V8 when you start the engine. But of course, there are other changes to the cabin besides the steering wheel, and that is the fact that even though the Amalfi retains the dual cockpit kind of design that the Roma helped to pioneer, we get an increased sensation of space because of the redesign. One of the biggest highlights, I would say, is the fact that we have this new central tunnel over here that is milled out of an anodized aluminium block. It's really, really nice to touch. I wish you could touch it and feel it. Far nicer, in my opinion, than the shiny chrome that we saw on the Roma, and it gives a heightened sensation of space over here. Now, what this also helps is for us to put a horizontal 10.25-inch infotainment touchscreen between the driver and the passenger. And I think those who have driven the Roma will know that the previous infotainment system, whenever you started Apple CarPlay, your beautiful instrument cluster would disappear and fade to the background. So with this setup now, you not only get a more elegant, more spacious, more luxurious space, but also added functionality at the same time. Now, the final big question, of course, is when can we expect the Ferrari Amalfi? Ferrari states that the first deliveries in Europe for left-hand drive models are set to begin in Q1 2026, so we could expect to see the car in Singapore in the second half of 2026. So that's all from our time in Maranello with the Ferrari Amalfi. What are your thoughts on this car? Let us know in the comments, and if you've liked this video, don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe buttons, and follow us on TikTok at Sgcarmart. For now, that's all from us. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!